Welcome to Saskatoon at the Nutana Curling Club for the Canadian Under-18 Curling Championships. I'm Brian Chick here with Eugene Hritzek. We're going to have a matchup today between Newfoundland 2 and New Brunswick. All the teams are in town after several days of delays. We've got all 42 teams on site, and action is finally feeling normal here in Saskatoon. Newfoundland will start with the hammer based on the pre-game draws of the button. Both were on the pin for Newfoundland. So up first for New Brunswick, Ron Allen Elsinga. Oh, wait, no, it looks like they have made a lineup change. So it'll be Jaden Colwell.
Speed same as practice.
New Brunswick playing short-handed here today. Just 3 guys on the ice. Looks like we're missing Skip Sahil Dalrymple.
Always straight. That's interesting. Stop forward, take a look. Take a look. Line's good. 15-2. 15-2. Easy. Just clean, just clean. Oh, boy.
New Brunswick slips into the house by design, and Noah Warren Peter will have a crack at it.
Oh, clean, yep. Good.
Bonks it on the nose, and I imagine we'll see a few more open takeouts for this particular end.
Just like the good old days, Brian, when we were at our youth like this. This is the way we played it. I lamented the game after a while because it was, like I said, it was like golfing with a driver and a putter, because back then you hit or you drew, and it just didn't seem like there was very much in between. I remember winning games 1-0.
None of these guys would remember the days before the free guard zone, but starting about the late 80s, early 90s, it became a 3-guard rule, then a 4-guard rule, now a 5-guard rule with no ticks. So we're really promoting those rocks in play. So you don't see a lot of these wide open ends anymore.
A lot of teams will start out like this just to get familiar with the ice and be comfortable with what the ice is doing with their deliveries, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty, the fun part of it.
You tend to see it a little bit more often in the 10-end games, just to save some time and settle in those early ends. But
I wonder when we're going to get to 8-end games, Brian.
It's been debated for quite some time, but I think those premier events like the Brier Scotties and Olympics, World Championships, they still like sticking to the 10-end format. Feels a little more, it's almost like a major in tennis where you have to play all 5 sets.
Yeah, it's the best out of 5 for sure.
Line's good.
But yeah, there has been a lot of movement in recent years to suggest that almost everybody prefers 8-end games.
Well, and also I think it gets packaged for television a little easier.
Just clean. 15-3.
Although television seems to be sliding off a bit. We're streaming here. Man, you can watch curling online through streaming now pretty much anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we're doing all 7 sheets here times 4 draws a day. I have to go in and schedule each one of them, so I think we're doing 150-something games this week. And
that's incredible.
Meanwhile, you've got the Scotties on TSN, and before long it'll be the Brier, or then Women's Worlds, Men's Worlds. There's going to be lots of curling on over the next month or so.
Yes, I subscribed this year to, I think it's called Curling Channel, World Channel. I don't know, it's a streaming package that World Curling puts out, and it gives you coverage for every event all sheets.
Set.
Now, like here, we're not having commentary in every sheet, but still, if you've got a team or friends or relatives that you want to watch, you can watch them. Maybe it's best that people don't have to listen to guys like you and I, Brian, and just enjoy the game.
People are watching. We've got more than 25,000 views on this event this week, so
Wow.
Clean. Clean.
people are tuning in to watch their
Good throw.
teams from across the country.
10-2.
Whoa. Step.
It's Lucas Wall. His turn for the open hit.
All right, boys. All right. Whoa. Good.
Changing the spot a bit, call the sweep off to maybe generate a miss from the other team.
Switch sides again.
Pretty hard on this ice. This is my home club, Brian, and you really can never walk off the ice and blame the ice if you've lost a game.
It's been spectacular from what we've seen. Tons of swing, nice and quick. If you bring the weight up a little bit, it does run straight.
Yes.
But if you throw the right weight, you can basically make it do whatever you want.
Break point is, I don't know, about 10 feet before the hog line on a draw shot, so you can hold that line to come around a guard very easily and then wait for it to come in. And if it's swept right, it's pretty hard not to get a shot in behind the guard here.
Yeah, from the hog line in, you're still looking at almost 4 more feet of curl.
You
so
do.
you don't even have to get close to the guard, it'll finish.
Yeah.
Whoa. Ollie, curl. 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 Hard piece. Hard. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
A little softer weight here, good thing. You don't want to be wide and heavy if you're wide and a little light.
Yeah, wide and heavy, bad news, but that was bare, like just hack weight, so it did curl up a little bit right to the nose.
Yeah.
Maybe with a little help of that carving sweeping stroke.
I remember one time years ago curling in a smaller community where I grew up, and we're playing against this team, and the skip tended to throw him a little lighter on hits, and I remember his third shouting down at him from the other end, "Throw it out there and give it a chance," he says. So that's what Newfoundland did with the previous shot.
Yeah, New Brunswick rolls out there. That was a similar line, but with a bit more weight,
Yep.
so it didn't finish up to the nose.
And just as you said earlier, on this ice, you want to, if you want to hold the line with the stone up your weight, and you can pretty much put the boom where you want to hit it with peel weight.
Heard from a few guys that this is really good sweeping ice too. You really feel
Really
like
good.
you're making a difference.
Hard, boys. All right. That's
Although
fine,
I don't
fine.
think this one's gonna get there,
Whoa.
no matter how much you sweep it.
Sorry.
Peel. I think peel.
Or, yeah, feels fine. I'm fine with that.
Not much hesitation there. He called for a peel. Like,
Mike.
oh, maybe there's some hesitation there.
I would have hesitated there. I think that's a freebie to go around here.
Who's got the hammer here?
Newfoundland has hammer, so
Yeah.
I would be tempted to try to use that, go around it, and maybe get a force out of it. You did see the coach get involved there. At the U-18 levels, you get one interaction. It's not quite a timeout, but the coach can offer some input one time per end. The clock does keep running, so it keeps the game moving along, but the idea being that you're learning as you go instead of waiting for that post-game meeting where the coach gets out the notebook and goes through, here's the 10 things you did wrong.
You know, I remember years ago when Dean Kleider, the coach of the Ryland Kleider team that went through, of course, U-15, U-18 juniors here in Saskatchewan. Ryland's dad, Dean, was the coach, and
A little bit.
he saw so many situations with the younger curlers that they'd stand there and not sure, and they'd debate things, and it would just take up time. And he suggested, why don't the coaches be permitted to intervene on the ice? And initially there was a fair bit of pushback because people say it's just going to stall the game, but as you indicated, the clock keeps going, and what we find is that a decision is made much quicker. Instead of 3 or 4 guys talking about half a dozen things, they narrow down quickly and throw. So
Yeah, and like I said, it's easier. I think it's more effective for the curlers to learn in the moment.
In the moment, exactly.
Because I remember being a young curler, and you'd get off the ice, and my dad was frequently coaching us, and he'd have his notes out, and he'd go, okay, page by page. Okay, first end, you should have done this. Second end, and you're trying to remember what the setup was, where the rocks were, what the angles were like, and so this way, he says, no, just throw the draw here.
Yeah. Here's an interesting scenario that this happens, and I think maybe with a little bit of inexperience, your brothers have pulled up short drawing to the corners. When they do their LSDs, they're all drawing outside in, outside in. They polish the ice up good outside in. If you ever start going down the middle early in the game, you'll get a bit of drag on the stone because it's fresh pebble.
Yeah, all of a sudden our clean end isn't going to be so clean anymore. We've got a couple of guards up. We've got one in the house. And this is a pretty good shot.
Excellent shot.
Maybe a little too good coming out the other side.
That did too. Has to throw a controlled weight shot, though this isn't going to be a clean hit for sure.
It's a fairly high guard, so
Yeah.
as we said, tons of curl from the hog line in, so you don't even really have to get too close to that guard, and you can still probably nose that red.
Exactly.
Easily by the guard, and it will curl up again, right, almost to the nose, right on the beak.
Isn't that something? Nice throw.
As I said
Good
before,
throw.
the curl is there if you throw the right weight.
Exactly.
And I think
For sure.
some teams are better than others about just taking that little bit off so you can manage it with the brushes and really get that late finish. Some teams get a little too excited when they see half a rock and overthrow it, never get that curl.
You know, this is interesting. The weight that he just threw on this, it was like that, just through the house weight, and it's surprising. I remember Kevin Martin in practices, they used to actually throw draw shots that were just through the house 2 and 3 feet, as well as throwing a draw into the tee line, because not many teams practice. They don't think that that's in their scope of shots, but it often is, and that one was a good example of that through the house weight.
This one's also pretty soft, and the sweeper's trying to hold it straight. They will get by the guard, and now let it come up.
That is not hack.
Not hack, but will it make it through all the way out the back? Yes.
Well, nice shot.
So 1 point on the board for Newfoundland and Labrador. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants. With nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
Newfoundland puts a point on the board, a little bit maybe against their will, but a couple of good come-around soft weight takeouts kind of forced their hand there. So Newfoundland 1-0 after 1. They open the second with a center guard, and we should have some more rocks in play this time around.
Stop 4. Line's good. Line's
Good old
yep.
center guard with the
Yep.
first stone.
Yep.
Should
Hard line.
invite a little more,
line.
a few more rocks in play.
15-6. Yep.
Easily past the guard, but there's so much curl that we were just saying you don't even have to get too close to the guard to get that rock buried. He was by it by a good foot. And still,
And you know, and also you have to have the right weight, because if he's 3 or 4 feet heavier, he's coming out the other side. So it looks, you know, simple or easy, but it really isn't on this ice because of the finish.
we mentioned the no tick rule earlier, and for that to be in effect, that rock, the center guard has to be touching the center line. And we found on this ice, because it's going sideways by the time it slows down, it's actually really difficult to put that rock on the center line.
I think you're back. Rub. Top 4. Curl. Curl. Curl.
This one's coming around both of them.
Hard wall. Curl.
Another example of that
Oh, yeah.
big finish.
All right.
Almost fully buried behind a rock in the top 4.
Yeah.
So both of these teams sitting at 1 and 2 so far in pool play. This is Pool C on the men's side. The top 10 teams overall will move on to playoffs. So that was one of the only changes that was forced because of the late arrivals at the playoffs. Went from a 12-team playoff to a 10-team event. So that will be based on record once all pool play is done. It'll be the 10 best overall records. Right now in Pool C, Ontario is 4-0, so they're looking good. And Pool B, Quebec number 2 is 4-0. Manitoba's 4-1.
You can come here.
And in Pool A,
I like that.
Nova Scotia 1 and Quebec 1 are also both 4-0. So still a lot of undefeated teams on the men's side. Made the joke earlier that Nova Scotia 1 already has 4 wins and no losses. They had 4 wins before Nova Scotia 2 played a game.
Yes. And they were one of the teams that came in early in the morning.
Yeah, they arrived late last night or early in the morning, depending on how you set your clock.
Okay. Oh,
All right.
just happened to hit it on the wrong side and drag the yellow rock onto their own red one, but you know, yellows have the hammer, so reds are in a bit of a defensive mode here, so they got rid of 3 stones anyway.
Yeah, they were hoping to get them moving, but just got a little unlucky with the angles there.
Yeah.
Line's good. Stop 8. Stop 8, Ron. Little room right now. Switch. Switch. Just stop 8. Easy. Look. Weight's good. Looks up.
Boy, that break
55.
point is even
Easy.
closer than I said. Man, you had a little more weight
Curl.
than T-line weight, did he?
Not
Hard.
just about T.
Perfect weight, yep, T-line weight.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit late, but when it goes, man, does it go.
Especially if you have a slower handle on this ice, you're going to get a ton of finish.
Yeah, we have noticed that a lot of these young curlers don't quite have that same poppy release with the extra rotation that you see pretty frequently at the Slams and the Briars and the Scotties. A lot of them under rotate if you're counting.
Yes.
Straight. Hard line. Hard, Lloyd. Hard. Shot.
Good shot double and just about got the roll.
They got a little flop under, covered a piece.
So this weight has to be
Hack weight.
a little bit quieter, probably a hack weight shot.
Little roll's good.
Calling for hack. This guard's a little closer than the one going the other way, so you do have to get a little bit tighter to it.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Hard. Jaden. Gotta go.
They did get it by. Good sweeping.
Get by just up to the nose and just push it out the back. Nice soft weight there. Pretty impressive so far that they got a good grasp on the soft weight hits and where to put the broom.
Overall, I'm so impressed with the U-18 level of play here. Man, it's been exceptional.
Yep, right up. Hard. Whoa, curl. I didn't know.
A little tight, but a little heavy.
Yeah,
It was fine. The sweep was called on right away. The skip.
Yeah, I think they just had a little communication there about whether or not he knew how much weight was coming at him. Because obviously, as the guy holding the broom, you need to know if that's a hack weight or a little bit more, and that was quite a bit more than board weight.
That's for sure. And you mentioned that. That's really important for the front end brushes to communicate to the skip right on release what's happening, so that they can adjust the call accordingly.
So New Brunswick trying to take advantage of that guard that's still hanging out front. They squeak it by. They do.
Yep. Good throw.
Yes, threw it in a very good spot. They're gonna have to run it back, I presume, because it's close enough to that guard now.
Wanna run it? Okay. Yeah, normal.
With it being that close to the guard, I don't think there's enough room with the outturn. Maybe enough room with the outturn just to pick it out, but that's still going to leave the guard there for New Brunswick to make their next come around maybe a little better.
Yeah, you could see maybe a quarter of that yellow, but it's on the wide side, and I don't think it's as appealing as the short run.
Curl.
Looking for just a sliver inside the nose here, run it straight back.
And they waited too long, I think. Just didn't anticipate the curl.
Again, a little confused on the line call there. They're calling for curl out of his hand. It never quite got out to the spot they needed to hit.
That, or they were expecting more weight. If you threw another 10 feet of weight on this ice, there's a good chance it would have run a fair bit straighter, but
he was almost giving negative ice there, or at least just bare minimum. I know I can make that work with my out turn, but I don't think he throws it like I do.
He doesn't throw it that good.
Look up. D-line.
I can make my intern back up a couple inches for sure.
D-line. Easy.
It's like here.
New Brunswick splits the house, but there may be a pretty flat double, but it's makeable, I think.
Just a third.
The rocks are fairly lively on this ice, not as lively as they used to be. These stones are 10 years old now, and we just turned them over this year to the new side. So this is the first season for playing on this side. We got the running bands, the inserts on both sides of the stone so we could do this.
But the striking bands have been beat up for about 10 years, so they're
they're getting a little bit wide. Initially, they were a lot narrower, and boy, would you get action off of a rock once you hit it. So
Straight.
You gotta go, boys.
Hard line.
Hard roll. Whoa.
Hard roll.
this might be better than the double. Oh, it rolled a little too far.
and not a bad result, but they were looking for the double. But yeah, to roll frozen,
Wide, and I like softened it.
just
That slid really wide.
just cross the face of that. If that stops
That's like
6 inches sooner, it's
Yeah.
really good.
if we were shot.
It does shrink the house a bit for New Brunswick. They have to split the house for two, but they can't get it too close to this yellow because it may leave another double attempt.
Oh, you had to. Peel shouldn't kill that much. Or had 15-3, right? 'Cause that's
That's what I had on his last nose tee line.
So Michael Hughes, normally the third on this team, who's taken over skipping duties. Looking to split the house somewhere near tee line on the other side.
Felt a hair down. Oh, line's good. Hair down. Line's good. Full 8. Full 8. Easy.
Has
No.
lots of weight on this one.
Hair up. Another sit.
I don't think this one is going to stop.
Oh,
It just hangs on.
So they have to be a bit careful now.
I think just like that. Control.
Yeah, it's,
You'd like to keep
there's no way they can
Yeah.
hit and lie two here, I don't think.
Like
Reds.
two-thirds. Yeah.
I think Newfoundland is going to have to make this double, hopefully roll in front of the yellow, and
Squeak out.
again hope for a jam.
Well, you can hit and save your reds. You just can't spread them out too much.
That's the problem. There isn't much room for this one red rock, the red rock that's frozen, to slide.
Just control.
I think you want to hit it just a little bit across the nose,
Yeah.
a little bit on the low side with,
Yeah.
like I think they're calling control weight, and just try to spread them out,
Yep.
spread that roll as far as you can go while saving the red that's already there.
Yep. Whoa. Hard. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
It's got a lot of weight on this
Yeah,
one.
this is a little bit more than control, I think.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Straight. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, did. Good shot. Very good.
Saves
Still
the,
leaves a double here, but
You like it? Got it right there. Like point it? Yep.
now you can't see it on the overhead on the screen, but
9.
that yellow counter at the back might be in the line of fire if you're trying to make this
yeah,
double.
I think you have to hit the top rock fairly thin. You can only hit about inch or 2 of it at the most.
Yeah.
So that's going to skid the top rock over top of the top red one, over top of the yellow one that's in the back of the house.
Yeah, I
There
think
you see there.
you're looking for the thin double. I think it's makeable, but it's you're right. You do have to hit it pretty thin,
Pretty thin.
probably
You can-
less than a quarter.
Yeah, oh yes.
If you hit it too thick, you might jam and roll over the top.
For sure.
Close. Whoa.
A lot of weight coming here.
Whoa.
Curl. 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 Hard. Hard.
It's going to be close.
Hard.
Oh. That was
Touches them
skinny,
both,
Yeah.
but loses the shooter. Hard to hit that too thin, but
Yes.
he managed.
Okay, Mike.
1 point, a steal for Newfoundland. They'll take a 2-point lead. We'll be back with third after this.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Corner guard, Jaden.
A steal on the board for Newfoundland and Labrador number 2. New Brunswick took on the double, had to hit it thin, but managed to just hit it a little too thin, rattle it through, and A point on the board for the red team.
It was a fairly tough double. If he hits half of that top rock, he's just rolling across the face of the other one, and it would be a steal. So not much room for error on that shot.
Curl. All right, curl.
So Newfoundland opens by going into the house. New Brunswick ignores it, throws the corner guard.
Good throw.
Gotta go.
Both these teams play at a pretty good pace. They don't dawdle. It's good to
Gotta
see.
be T, boys. Gotta be T.
They are playing with time clocks and with a few extra added minutes for those coaches' interactions.
Keep going, boys. Right to it.
I haven't seen many teams struggle with the clock. I'm just trying to think of the games that we've been watching over the last couple of days. I remember one that got down to the very single digits by the time the team was throwing their last shot. But most of the time, the clocks haven't been an issue. And even with those coaches' interactions, it does keep things moving a little bit.
So many don't use the Kevin Cooey pace of play. I don't know how many times Kevin Cooey has thrown a stone with less than 10 seconds on the clock.
I remember the 2013 Olympic trials. He was playing against John Morris, and John Morris threw his last one with 5 seconds on the clock.
Wow.
Kevin Cooey threw his last one with 1 second on the clock.
Yeah, crazy.
I took a picture of the scoreboard for that one because it was just a little nerve-wracking.
I was timekeeping one of Kevin Cooey's games here at a slam event in Saskatoon, and at that time the timekeepers were placed just behind the scoreboard on the high bar tables, so you could talk to the players and occasionally they'd speak to you. And I remember they're playing the 10th end, and Kevin Cooey had over 5 minutes left on the time, and I had it on my laptop, and he's back to me. He said, "How much time do I have left?" I turned it on and says, "Obviously you don't trust my timekeeping. You have 5 minutes left, Kevin."
Take a look, take a look.
Well, I think he's so used to getting to that last end and having 45 seconds to play with. But like I said, most of these guys so far play fairly quickly, and the clock hasn't been an issue, which is nice. I wish more players were like that.
Yeah, that's really good. Just
You like it? Okay.
a lot of good coaching.
11.
You know, this we have to commend, well, especially Curling Canada, and then all of the provincial associations for the coaching development programs that have come through the system. And man, it's finally filtering through down to these young players and seeing so much good technical skill. Strategy is really good.
Easy. Clean.
And while these events are obviously fun and competitive for the kids, the coaches also have the opportunity to network. There are mentor coaches, there are professional development offerings here. So if the coaches aren't on the ice here, they can mingle with the other coaches and actually get some professional development out of it too. So
For sure.
it's a nice program that's aimed at helping them along too.
Whoa! Yep! Yes!
Lucas Wall looking for a board weight hit. Trying to hold this one straight to keep it on the high side.
Dig! Hard!
Can they hold the line on this one?
That's a
Yes, they did.
great sweep from Lucas Cole there. He was
No kidding.
I got hacked.
digging tunnels there. That was some weight on the brush.
He's calling just nose. Nose this one.
Good position with his head right over top of the brush head. Handle fairly straight. Those will give you the highest forces brushing if you can position your body over top of the brush head as much as possible.
Whoa! Curl! Whoa! Straight! Yep. Clean. Great throw.
Yeah, Jaden Cowell doing a tap dance there, depending on which side of the rock they were calling. Curl straight, curl straight.
That's the problem. That's the disadvantage of only having one sweeper when you got 3 curlers, because straight and curl means you got to jump from one side to the other. So
Yeah, you do end up sweeping less in theory, because you're only you throw 3 and you sweep 5, but you're doing double duty now when you consider the directional sweeping.
yes.
Whoa! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! Good!
Yes. Whoa.
Whoa! Yep! Yep! Straight! Hard! Hard line! Whoa!
Another well-managed
Nice
rock all
throw.
the way down there.
Good throw.
Yeah!
Good grasp on, again, throwing the right weight and putting the broom in the right spot. We haven't seen that across the board. Some people are getting fooled by either throwing too much weight or not taking enough ice for the soft weight.
Well, it's interesting. This is the second game that I've worked on the streaming network here, and boy, both games I was impressed with how well they read the ice, how well they throw, and we've got that again here. It's
Hard. You gotta go. Hard, Jaden. Hard right up.
this one won't be the double, but
Okay.
Nose! Control!
I didn't see the call on the last one. Did he call it a double or not?
I think he did, but
Just a little quiet.
yeah, it didn't get up to. Or at least they wanted the nose on that
Or the
side. It
nose
just
on
didn't
that
quite get
side,
up to
yeah.
where it wanted to be.
Whoa! Yep! Whoa! Clean! Clean! Curl!
Curl.
Straight! Whoa!
Curl. Curl the
Clean!
stick.
Curl! Curl! My bad.
We gotta try and
Do it well.
Just about straight across, but
Yeah.
I guess hey, if you got the hammer and you're down 2, use those rocks.
Yeah,
you
those-
can come around the guard and be in front of backing.
Yeah, you don't even. I mean, ideally you'd like to be buried, but if you're wide open, those 2 reds at the back still are going to be in the way when you try to remove it.
Line's good.
Like I always tell the teams that I work with, when you're down, remember every rock is your friend. Don't get rid of it.
Line's good.
If you have to push it to the back of the rings, use it for backing or come around it, but
Take a look, Jaden. Line's good.
don't be removing it out of play. And here's an example with the rocks at the back of the house being used.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot for that one.
Okay, that's good. Really good.
They have 2 choices. You can either freeze to this one, and the way that the ice finishes, and with what we saw the first end,
15-1.
going in this direction, they could throw just through the house weight and move it out at an angle.
Right back.
I think he's just calling the freeze with that ice, but I think you're right. If you threw back line plus a foot,
Yeah.
you could probably chip it sideways and get it out.
Yeah.
But this is probably the safer call. You can get one in the way here and shrink that scoring area a little bit. So skip Zachary French looking for a freeze. Can come right up to the nose. That rock is a little behind the tee line, so it doesn't have to be on the corner.
Looks a good line from our vantage point if he's got the weight. Looks a bit light.
Hard EFI! Gotta go!
Just a bit light, maybe.
Hard roll! Hard roll!
Yeah. Line was pretty good if he had the 6 more feet that he needed, but just plain light on that.
I think so. I like it. I think you're high. Yeah, even if you're here. Yeah. Right there. I like
Opportunity here for New Brunswick to potentially set up a 3.
it. 15-2.
If they can sink one more in there. And again, the key being keep it in front of the tee line. Don't go deep and give them a get out of jail card.
Just top four. Top four under the red. I think this is pretty close.
I think the best
Just a
would
touch
be to
more.
leave about a quarter of a rock sticking out, because to remove it would be tough with the red one in the back.
Yep. You want to be second shot and at least half covered, and
Yeah.
I think that does
Line's good.
Pretty good.
does the trick.
How's the way?
Easy look. Look.
Always straight, straight.
Looks a little tight
Hard
here.
line, hard,
Yeah,
straight.
that
Are you going
one's
to get by?
busting
Hard
sideways,
line, hard. Gotta go.
coming right up to that guard.
Hard roll. Hard roll.
Does roll in
Okay.
for third shot. Doesn't quite get to.
Still a good shot, because
I mean, it's like an eighth.
somehow
Really hard.
Newfoundland has to deal with shot rock.
Yeah, just call time.
Yeah, we're gonna have a coaches interaction here, and Matt Hughes will come out and offer some advice.
Rock, right? Even if you
It could raise the red guard, the draw that just was a bit short on the first rock. You push it in,
Do you ever play like that?
looking at the angle double.
Like no, in the off the red. No,
That's
It's like-
a pretty high risk shot.
tough. Like I throw it.
I think I'd be tempted to push that red one that he just threw back into the 4-foot or up against yellow shot rock.
Do you like it or no?
I don't really
At the stage of the game, giving up 2 here is not the end of the world.
Yeah,
but
that's
you
true,
don't
too.
you don't want to give,
Give
up
up
3.
three, yeah.
So I wouldn't.
Yeah, when you're up, you're right.
You're conceding one.
I'd be tempted to hit the yellow on the center line, and maybe if you do it just right, get a roll under. I don't think you can really get shot there, but
I'm not the huge fan of
Have
that.
to get
No, I
I
know.
don't want
Yeah.
to give him 3. Like 2's all right.
So if you nose hit on that, nice and soft,
yeah,
right?
even if
then
you
it's
get
gonna
rid of
make-
one of the yellows
the
and make him draw
really
for
tough
2,
him
that
to
might
get
be your
second
best bet.
shot,
Take your
right?
medicine here.
Sounds like I heard you, Brian.
Yeah, sorry. They must have good ears. We're about 200 feet away.
Behind the glass,
Yeah.
up in the lounge.
What? Yeah.
Later in the game, if something's on the line, I'd like to tap the
Yeah.
aggressive play, but early on, I don't think you need to take that on. 'Cause
Anything that gets us a roll. He's gonna have a draw for 2. Are we second shot? Yes. But this is a rock is pretty dangerous. So gotta get rid of it. No. Whoa! Whoa! Curl! Curl! We gotta go. Close.
Is he going to get the skinny double
Whoa,
here?
hard straight. Whoa. Whoa, never mind. Never
No.
mind.
No.
Keep going, Wall. Hard. Keep going.
Mission 1 was accomplished. Got rid of the yellow and is still sicking second shot. So there will be a draw for 2, but they knew that was always going to be the case.
Just draw for 2, yeah. Just need bite of the 4. Just need bite of the 4.
This ice has been nice and quick all week. We'll see if we can get you a time on the draw here. Probably looking for about 15.5 to 16 seconds almost.
Usually when it gets to its keenest, it'll be about a 15-2 here.
Full 4. 4 foot.
No hesitation from Jaden Cowell. Put his head down right away.
They're going to have to work this one to get it in. It's got to be 16.
Yeah, I got about a 16-1.
Yeah.
Just kicking
Gonna get
rocks.
it.
Kicking rocks out of the way, but not quite gonna do it. Still a 16-second rock gets to the almost to the top 8, so that's a nice slick surface.
Yeah.
1 point on the board for New Brunswick. Newfoundland will have the hammer when we play the 4th. Almost coming up on halftime already. We'll be back right after this.
told me was, you never know when you're going to get back. And you always want to make sure to focus on the competition, of course, because that's what you're there for. But you always want to be able to enjoy the opportunity and what's in front of you. So it'll very quickly, I don't find it difficult to get focused on the ice. I'm usually quite in a bubble and I don't really know what's going on the other sheets or around me. So on my side of things, that's not a big problem. But yeah, just making sure you find that balance, because there are so many neat things that are going on outside of just the ice, from the telethon to the youth programming. We've got future stars with us. There's just so many things that are exciting, and we want to be part of it all and experience it all.
Real bit.
Valiant effort by Jaden Cowell to drag that one all the way, but comes up a couple feet short.
Easy.
So only 1 point on the board for New Brunswick. They trail 2-1. And here we are getting the fourth end underway. These 8 end games, when you've been watching the Scotties all week, these 8 end games seem to go quite a bit faster. So center guard in play. It is touching the center line, so it cannot be removed from center.
You can touch it, though.
Yeah,
you just can't move it off the center line.
Did you ever envision any rule like that when you were playing the no free guard zone?
I thought the 3-rock free guard zone rule was like over the top, extreme departure from what curling should be all about. But back then we didn't have the ice, and there were straw brooms, so there was a lot more debris to contend with. So there wasn't the finesse shooting that we were seeing now.
My bad, Hugh, bad. Yeah, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, you didn't need guards. There was enough mulch and crap on the ice that you get misses just by virtue of the rocks picking up stuff.
Nice come around there from Newfoundland.
How'd that feel? Mine's good.
Noah Warren Peter, and now Jaden Cowell's going to try to come around and match it from the other side.
Just top 8. Good. Easy look. Weight's good. Just right here.
Lots of weight.
Looks on. Earl. 15-1. Yep.
He said 15-1.
Yep. Really good. Attaboy.
Good shot.
This one already shaping up to be a little messier than the previous 3.
French for Newfoundland, Labrador playing with the intern, and New Brunswick playing with the outturn. Come around.
Hard line! No. Take a look! We're real light. Gotta go.
Line's pretty good if they can get it there. They got to drag it a little bit further, though. Not a terrible spot.
It's all right.
Back line.
New Brunswick wanting to promote their own onto the red one and push it out of the rings and lie 2.
One of the things that we stress a lot of times in coaching is the tolerance, the good miss. And with a lot of those freezes, the miss you see a lot is that chip off, where you create a pocket or you create the opportunity to come off and make a double. So leaving those short is usually a better option.
Yeah.
Close, yep.
This is a good looking shot coming in here. If they can hold straight enough. Past 1.
Hard! Right up!
Past 2. Did he have enough weight on it?
Great shot.
Yeah. Although red is still shot rock, but that's an excellent.
I was pretty sure he was going to rub the second one. I knew he was by the first, but I thought he was going to tick that red, but great sweep there.
Oh, there'll be some granite flying on this one.
Yep. Oh, yeah, gotta go.
Lucas Wall looking for the yellow-red combo. Gets a
Yeah.
chunk of it, does the trick.
Good.
Little debate amongst it in his own head for Michael Hughes, sorry, whether he throws the center guard back up or maybe tries to freeze to that back red and sit three.
No, center guard, that's too early to come to the back one. It's a shot for later on.
Yeah, I agree.
Hard line.
This one's gonna over curl though.
It is slow handle on this one. Very.
Oh. Just a hair tight.
I think
good.
you're losing this, but it's all right.
He's got to hope that they don't jam it on their own back rock.
He's kind of admitted that it's almost certainly going to touch it, but I think if you play the drag the other way, you can avoid sticking it.
Yeah, I think that if he hits half a rock or less, it's going to drag it straight back. Although it's lined up in the red one, but the drag effect.
Control. Yep.
Oh, he's a little narrow.
Yeah, if he gets across the face on this, it's the opposite of the drag. It's the push effect.
It will be.
And he
He
might
might do that.
help
He might
this
end up
stuff.
with a jam. Yeah. Did almost hit it past the red rock on the other side. Well, that didn't work out well. It was right out of his hand from our, well, we're both behind the sheet, but I'm almost directly behind the middle of the sheet, and you could see that he started that one out of his hand a bit. Got it curling.
And half the battle is knowing where you have to hit it, and the other half is actually executing. And
Yeah.
Oh, curl if anything. Switch. If you can. Looks heavy. Curl.
Trying to find a good spot for
62.
this.
Whoa, looks up. Curl. Hard. Hard curl. Hard. Gotta go.
Look at that. Wow,
Yeah,
what's
that's
the
not
finish there?
I'd say that's a pretty good spot for
It
that.
is.
Yep.
After that last miss, Newfoundland's just really trying to make sure that they have an easy shot for one. They might be able to sneak something tricky for two, but you really don't want to let New Brunswick get anything set up. And those rocks on the center line and the top of the house are always going to be trouble.
Yes, yes, yes. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Curl, curl. It's all right.
That's a tough way to make that double.
Get out.
Do you make it? No, it didn't quite go out.
It's tough to say. There's a red and a yellow over there.
Oh, that's right too. That one I couldn't see. It was behind the post from my vantage point.
So we guessed wrong a couple of times late yesterday based on the overhead camera. So I'm not gonna make a guess here. But obviously yellow in the back 8 still shot, but it's really tough to say who might be second over there.
Line's good. 2, Jaden. Always straight. 2, 3. Easy. Look, look. Just 3, just a 3. 2, 3.
Just looking to throw the guard. I'm surprised that they're not playing the come around to the high one.
Curl a bit. Curl a bit. Curl hard. Hard. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
I think it's them. Them.
Still not sure. I don't think French indicated what he thought, but
He thought it was them, but he didn't say definitively. So
and it really doesn't change this call much whether it's this is the shot to play regardless of what's happening with those two biters.
Yeah, if you can make a good one here and kind of change the momentum, make them start to chase you a little bit, yeah, you might turn this end around. There's Lucas Cole with his second one.
Guys, gotta go.
Looks like it's a little spicy though. Might have a little extra weight on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be heavy.
Take a look. Line's perfect.
Oh no, here it comes down again. Once it starts curling, it comes down.
This is a great shot.
No.
Yeah.
Gotta sit. Let it sit. All right.
Just came out the other side.
Yes.
A little teaser there. Yeah.
And there is a port there with the out turn, but there's also a likelihood of jamming it on that yellow one.
Even if you do, it probably spins.
Okay, so you like playing that?
Yeah. Just 9.
Just normal?
9, yeah.
Mike Hughes taking on the run back. It's probably about 6 or 7 feet.
Just pretty much dead nose. Yep. Hair last.
It's amazing how the weight just comes off once it starts to curl.
Yeah.
That looked like a lot of weight out of his hand. And once the curl came, it just really dug in.
I find on this ice, because I curl on it, I've curled on it for 40-some years, if you have good rotation, you'll get good carry, but slow down the handle a bit on a draw shot, especially in the latter parts of the game, it will slow down quite a bit. This one
on the wide side, but those. Well, now we know who shot over there.
Oh.
Although we're
What
gonna have
happened there?
It came off the wall and made contact with the rock that was still in play. I think it was leaving anyway.
I think it was. We might have to do a replay here to see what happened. It is there, and then
yeah, that yellow was going anyway.
It was going anyway. Yeah.
It sort of went like.
So this is where they don't have the benefit of the replay, and we can't really talk to them, but it was, in fact, going to go out, so hopefully they make the right choice.
Like if anything, it would have been like there. So.
All right, so
I think they decided that that's the way it was going to end up anyway. Head official, on-ice official, Kevin Glessing,
You want to just go even?
stepping up and settling it.
Yeah, well, like, not much.
Most of these games you can get by without the on-ice official getting involved, but every now and then it's nice to have an impartial voice to help you work through those situations.
What surprises me with the slam events, they don't have any on-ice officials, and they get through them all. And these are guys playing for, through the course of the season, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's the beauty of this game. Very much still a gentleman's game.
Yeah, every now and then they get Pierre Charette out there to make some sort of call, but
by and large, they do pretty good on their own.
Yeah, you really don't have a whole lot of situations that pop up that require that
Cole, give me the other turn.
that judge or umpire or whatever you want to call it, but. Yeah, the slams are a good example. They measure their own stones. They kind of manage their own situation, and I say probably once or twice a year you see Pierre out there settling a dispute.
Take a look.
And there are a lot of rules in curling, and if you break some of them, which aren't really flagrant things, if you're deemed to not to have been sweeping according to the rules, there's no penalty for it anyway. So again, that's the beauty of curling being a gentleman's game. I don't know how long that's going to keep up. It seems to be working now as it has for the last few hundred years.
Just 11.
11? Yep. Just roll like right there. Just talk to Pete.
Just off nose. Just 11 here. Just off nose on the inside. No, I like 11. Just shade less.
Michael Hughes looking for a little hit and roll under here.
Hard! 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 Really gotta go!
Is he going to get by? I think he's got a great
He's
shot
by.
here.
Keep going, line!
Or is he?
Oh. Still turned out pretty good.
There will be a double potentially for
Yep.
two. I don't think
Yeah, control.
that back one did stay in play, but it's barely hanging on, so that side yellow would outcount it. But a nose hit double here will get you 2 points.
Yeah, no, control.
Just rubbed it. That was a millimeter away from perfect.
Control gets him.
Noticing the dividers between these sheets here, you see
I'm playing
it looks like a fairly thick divider.
Well, like,
Actually,
pick the rock
we found a very
anywhere but
economical
rolling out
way
is us
to
one.
get this 1 inch, I think it's deck board. It's just a 1x6 deck board, and it's bolted as a T onto a flat, I think it's flat metal. And then we put that insulated tubing that you wrap around pipes to keep them from freezing. We just set it on top of that, and they work like a darn. You don't get quick action off of them, rocks bouncing off the sideboards that much.
Hard!
And very economical way to
Really gotta go! Really
keep
gotta
the
go!
rocks.
Looking for the
Sheet,
nose
is
hit
it
double.
got
Close.
One.
Just
No.
misses the back. Will roll in for one. So another single on the board. We are going to go to the fourth end break. So take about 5 minutes, get yourself a drink. 3-1 for Newfoundland and Labrador. We'll be back in about 5.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
It was probably the most unique, beautiful, rewarding curling experience I've ever had. Having the opportunity to work in USG with the Cree Nation of Chisasibi, with Rhonda Spencer, with Roy Niacapo, just the entire community really came together, supported. We did something really tremendous, introducing a sport to a community that hasn't really had curling all that much, but there's a lot of very passionate curling fans. Radisson was a place where there's a curling club many years ago, and they haven't seen it in the region since. So we put a lot of time and effort and resources and told our stories, brought together all the Indigenous curlers, and empowered each and every one of us to share time with youth and community members.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
And welcome back to the new Tana Curling Club in Saskatoon. You're tuned in for the Under 18 Canadian Curling Championships. I'm Brian Schick here with Eugene Huritzuk. And we've got an interesting one. Some opportunities swinging both ways for both of these teams, Newfoundland Labrador number 2 and New Brunswick. Both 1 and 2 at the moment, looking for their second win.
Nice roll.
We've seen some opportunities get squandered and some good shots made, but nobody's really been able to quite capitalize yet.
New Brunswick not worrying about the stone on the button, throwing up the corner guard.
Curl. Curl, you gotta go.
You will see some teams play that differently depending on
push it
how
over.
good that first shot is
Yeah.
made. If it's in the
Hard, you
4 foot
gotta go.
top of the button, they'll hit it.
Hard.
If it's
Curl.
not there, then they're not so worried about it. But these guys opting to ignore it and placing pretty good center guard there, or sorry, corner.
It should be a little wider. You don't want to block off the path to the 4-footer button when you throw up a corner guard, because New Brunswick has the hammers, so they want to have a clear path in case they've got to bail out the end. That would have been better to have that guard over to the boards a little bit more.
I think the rookie or club curler mistake is to throw the guard too far out to the wings, and then, it never gets used. But
And then get nothing out of it.
yeah, I agree with you. You know, probably another foot wider would have been all right for that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hard.
And you know, that's probably the only difference that I'm seeing here. The calls are good. You know, generally throwing really well. Sometimes the shots just are misplaced
Nice time. You like this, sir?
a bit, a few inches here or there. That makes a difference between this level and the next level. Still such good curling.
Clean.
There are so many more opportunities recently, considering you have the under 18s, you've got the under 20s, now there are specific under 25 events, you've got university level events.
Yes.
So the development pathway and the opportunity to play at that next level, and that next level is so much more present than it was even a few years ago. And so these guys will have more opportunities to play at events like this, and most of them will be running into each other at national championships and bonspiels for years to come.
And here, I'm not sure whether it's across Canada. I think it is. They've got U-15 leagues here. So you've got that. When I was a teenager, we had high school curling and men's curling. That was it. So the opportunity afforded to these curlers nowadays is tremendous.
I had the opportunity to play juniors, but juniors was anything from 13 to 21. So, so you'd have to take your lumps as a younger player. But as you said before, these guys are moving quite along quickly. Not a lot of coaches' interactions even slowing this one down. I love the quick pace of play.
Yes. There's no reason for the skip to be ready, to not be ready, to call the next shot if they're watching what's happening with the shot coming down the ice ahead of them.
Might get the thin double here.
Looks good. Oh, yes. Good shot.
Don't know if that's exactly what they were calling, but great result.
Well.
I think they intended to hit that a bit quicker and just get the roll, but hey, whatever works. Lucas Wall looking for the nose hit on the back.
Curl. No, keep going. Clean, clean.
I think he's got the quiet weight, and it'll come up at the end here.
Nice roll. That's control.
I imagine New Brunswick will be coming around this corner guard now that they're down 2 points, so they've got to make things happen. Or maybe not.
I liked your call.
Yeah. You know, you could use that red rock as backing if you come around that front yellow guard and leave it even half sticking out. It's going to be tough to remove it with that red rock there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you have to learn as your, strategy matures, kind of as you get more comfortable, is that you can't be afraid of a rock in the 12-foot.
For sure.
On the back 12, that's not a rock that's going to kill you. And like you said, that's a rock you can probably use.
Roll. Hard roll.
And watch this. Hit and roll behind guard. What do we know, Brian?
Earl Morris used to say, another teaching moment out the window.
Doesn't matter. I prefer the draw, I think.
Good shot.
If you don't make the draw, it's really bad.
He'd be coaching somebody and they'd call something absolutely ridiculous, and he's like, how do you let him throw that? And then they go and make it. You go, well, if you're going to make it, I can't say anything.
Well, that's what I say. Any strategy is right if you make the shot. Most cases, not all cases, but and you can't challenge your strategy on a missed shot. I see that so often. There's shots missed, and they go, well, we should have played the other shot. Well, the call was good. The execution wasn't.
Hard wall.
Looking close.
Looking for the run back. He's going to over curl just a little, just misses.
But rolls on for a biter now.
Yeah, spills the shooter on. New Brunswick does have hammer. They are sitting shot. So if they can get another one in the house and avoid setting up a double, they are in a good shape for their junior deuce.
Switch sides here. Just try to tuck one under that red. Deeper is okay here.
That's a little tight line, but
Try to be.
I think if he comes to the tee line, he should be okay.
He's not tight anyway. He got out to the broom.
He did. He sure did.
T-line.
And maybe a little extra pokey too. Make sure he did not want to flirt with that red.
Straight off.
And lots of weight.
14. It's fine. Sit down.
has to hang on here.
Sit down, Sally.
And it just bites at the back.
Oh,
okay.
it does too. Wow.
I'm guessing
Well, I
that's
think nose is
out
all right.
counting the red up front, but again, we don't have the best angle at it.
It's close. Well, the way these guys have been curling, they'll maybe come across the face and get the double. Although it's a pretty fine double, I think this is just going to be a hit and stick.
Oh! Whoa!
Lucas Cole looking
Whoa.
to
No,
hit,
curl.
maybe get a little roll towards the other yellow in the back, but this one has to curl quite a bit.
Whoa!
He should be good.
Curl!
Gets the nose.
Yeah.
As with every draw this week, 6 other games going on neighboring sheets, so no shortage of action here. But if you're curious about scores, results, schedules, there is now a finalized schedule for the rest of the week now that we have all teams in the building. You can check out curling.ca/scoreboard, and that will give you all the information you need.
Whoa! 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 Yep! 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 Yep!
Yes, you can go to that website also and pick up the scores and the standings and the Scotties.
Wait to call curl. Yeah.
Scotties has been hard to predict this year from
Yeah.
based on the results in my pool.
Call curl on this one unless it's real out there.
Hard. Each draw, there's at least a couple of upsets or
Control.
some results you may not anticipate. So, it's good
Always
TV
interesting.
anyway.
Yes,
Stay
very
like
interesting.
that, right? So he just, yeah, I know. Oh, that's what we need. Like if it stays dead straight, curls at the end. Okay, so half.
Not much ice on this throw, so
Whoa!
must be planning to throw a little more weight.
Not close, curl.
There's a little inside-out set on that release, you can tell, but I think he's going to make it work.
Hard, right up.
Yep.
That release was more typical to what we see on the Scotties and the Slams. That really poppy and slightly inside out to the broom.
It's interesting. I watched some of the elite teams practice here at Nutana, and they use the laser, and I watched them. They'll slide out unbelievably perfect with a laser beam on the middle of the stone, and just at release, you'll see the laser, they'll pop it a little bit. The laser moves about an inch off center, and then within about, I'd say 30 feet back on the middle of the rock. And they actually try to do that so it carries about 30 feet before it gets back online.
The rocks that you're seeing on TV generally are so sharp that you can get away with really stabbing it out there, knowing that it's always going to curl back in. And I'd say this ice is similar, just the way these rocks are finishing.
A few years ago, I can't remember what years it was, but we had the Canadian mixed doubles here at Nutana. I'll wait to see his shot. Is he going to stick around?
The hit is made, yep.
And we had it for the first 2 years at Nutana, the Canadian Mixed Doubles Championships. And Rachel Holman commented that this was the best curling club ice and rocks in the world as far as she was concerned, because it reacted so much like what they're used to playing without. And that's why, like, McEwen's home club is here, Nutana. Ryland Kleider, who's representing Saskatchewan at the Briars, home club is Nutana. These teams, and Nancy Martin also, who's at the Scotties, these teams will come here and practice at 6 in the morning in some cases. The ice maker, the ice tech, Lawrence Kucherin, gets the ice ready for them. So
we saw both of those men's teams here on, I want to say, Sunday. Before the competition got started, there was some free ice, so they got some practice in before they had to head off to the Briar.
Yeah, they're heading off. I think this...
Looking for the double here.
One and
gets them
great
both.
Shot.
Nice shot from Zach
And
French.
sticking around.
Sticks around now. Red sitting 2.
Well, And after the late draw here, we've seen Brad Gushu coming out to throw. He's here watching his daughter.
2 daughters.
2 daughters, is it? I didn't know that. Wow. Wow, that's something.
Both playing for the Newfoundland 1 women's team.
Nice.
So just a unfortunate mistake there for New Brunswick to roll that their last hit just a little closer to the center to make that straight back double available. And Zach French made no mistake and stuck around, which really kind of puts a little more pressure on Mike Hughes here. Draw needs to touch a piece of the 8-foot to score a point.
Looks pretty good coming over the hog line.
Yeah, no drama there. Right to... Oh, still going.
Right to the back of the 8-foot.
Right to the back of the 8, but good enough.
Hit the 8-foot twice.
Yeah. Point on the board. New Brunswick still trails 3-2. We'll be back after this break.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants. With nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Wednesday, Thursday. Sorry.
6th end underway. New Brunswick put a single on the board. No multiple scores yet this game. Just a whole lot of ones.
65.
They trail Newfoundland 2, 3-2. And put that guard right on the center line. That one is touching, so
It's in sacred territory.
subject to the no-tick rule. Not that this is really a tick situation, but
Yeah.
later on, I was talking with Matt Hall, who plays with Ryland Kleider yesterday. He said that putting those guards on the center line has become so critical at that high level.
Really close. Top 4. Stay close.
And the reason for that was that they were finding that curlers are executing the tick and splitting the guards off to the wings so consistently that
Really coming down. Take a look.
they were basically taking away the effect of the free guard zone rule by removing the guards. Nice shot.
Tell him to throw a
We
bit more rotation.
commented earlier on how that free guard zone kept evolving, and it was just as soon as you put a rule in place, it didn't take too many years before people found out how to negate it.
Yeah.
Just a high one.
And then after the 4-rock rule came around, all of a sudden that tick shot became super popular. And I blame Lisa Weigel, but
Nice one here.
Lisa and Team Homan threw that so frequently, and they basically won the 2013 Scotties because of it.
Line's good.
They were so effective by
Here's a hair wide.
neutralizing that center guard, and
Curl early. Curl.
they were really the pioneers in making that shot work, but everybody else got good at it too. So now I had to change the rule yet again. 5-rock free guard zone and no tick.
Good throw.
And now in the slam events, they have, if you blank a second end in a row, you lose the hammer. They're trying to keep more offense in the game, more scoring.
I do like that rule. The
Yeah.
If you blank blank one, fine, but if you blank 2 in a row, give up the hammer.
Although, you know, some people say, oh, I hate blank ends. And I go, well, why? Well, it's boring. I go, Did you see the shots that they had to make to blank that end?
I said the same
there's
thing.
2, 3 doubles and a triple maybe for them to blank it. I think it's spectacular to watch with a 5 rock free guard zone rule a team execute the blanks. There's a lot of spectacular shots being made.
Yeah, 2 minutes ago, there were 9 rocks in play,
Yeah.
and they threw a triple and a quad and an in-off, and that's the only reason they blanked it.
Oh, yeah, I love watching those shots.
Let it sit.
I don't think every shot, spectacular shot, has to be a draw or a tap or whatever. There's,
Curl.
like you said, the triples, the quads,
All right.
those are really something to watch.
Okay. It's a hair slower. Nice freeze, Jake.
So, New Brunswick set up with the vertical center guards. That's usually a pretty good way to set up your steel. And 2 red rocks in the house. Top of the 4 foot, so they need to be maneuvered a little bit if New Brunswick wants to steal here. But rocks in play, so we should see
Room. Curl.
Should be a
something
freeze here.
interesting. Yeah, little freeze bump here, I think.
Yeah.
15-7. Up a bit. Curl a hair. Curl. Gotta go. Hard.
Now here it comes.
Hard curl. Hard.
Just got to be patient.
Good throw.
There it is.
Not bad.
Not bad. Leaves a little air between the two.
You can get inside that, but
Also, on this ice, you can draw around those 2 red ones if you had to.
yeah, I think so.
And not only be shot, you could probably be on a good part of the button. I think Newfoundland and Labrador has to be careful not to overlap this red one on those 2 other red ones in such a way that you can't do a double bump, because they may have to bail out. Oh, this looks a little wide. He set this out.
A little heavy and a little wide here. Could be trouble because it's going to run that yellow onto the red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, not all bad as it turned out for New Brunswick. Or
It's a little good news, bad news for both teams.
yeah, good and bad for both teams.
It did improve the yellow rock for New Brunswick, but also buried and staggered those 2 reds, and now they're very difficult to get at.
Just back line, yeah?
Back line. I wonder what's.
I like
think-
this as back
Oh,
line.
I see. Back line, or even a little bit more to move some stuff around here.
Yeah, just change up the angles and
Yep.
see if you can find another way in.
Tap this yellow. Close. Close. Yep. Yes. Yes.
This is going to be tight to the guard.
Gotta go.
Really soft handle, too. Not a lot of
Yeah,
rotation
soft
on this one.
handle and soft weight.
Whoa. Okay.
More rocks in play, but not ideal for New Brunswick there.
Control.
No, for sure not. Newfoundland and Labrador looking to remove this yellow one because it is a weapon for New Brunswick to run into these 2 reds. One in the 4 foot, one just about biting the 4 foot.
Yep. Hey. Right up.
Make the hit, but they're going to roll all the way to the other side, wide open. Can New Brunswick do anything with that one off the red?
Well, they've got 2 shots. They can make that yellow-red double, or come in
Back
with
line.
a backline shot, red on
Back
red,
line.
and remove one and leave the shooter in front so that they can promote it next time.
Yeah, we're about halfway through the end, and oftentimes when I'm coaching, I'll say this is where you have to kind of make up your mind what you want to do with the second half. You know, your first half is set up shots, and you try to get things in position, and then halfway through you say, okay, are we going for it or are we bailing out? It looks like they've decided they're still going for it.
Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard.
This one curling a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm going to tick the guard.
Whoa.
A little slow rotation again on this one. This handle wasn't turning
I think
very
you ripped
fast.
it.
And
Okay.
I know they buffed up the rocks just before the event started on sandpaper, so there's still some good bite.
Well, as we were saying, you can get away with that poke with
Yep.
with a lot of rotation, and it will curl. But those soft rotations, those soft handles, will
Yes.
Yeah.
just start drifting
Whoa,
offline.
whoa, whoa.
Suicidal
Whoa.
here.
Curl. 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 Curl wall. Real tight. That's good though.
Pretty conservative call there from Newfoundland.
Yeah.
You could have made another play into the house, or even thrown a guard and have a pretty good chance of getting your 2 or 3.
Yeah, sometimes you play to the scoreboard. They're up 3-1, I guess, and thinking,
3
oh, no,
3-2.
3-2. Sorry, they're not even up that much. Yeah, I'm surprised the coach didn't step out and say, let's make something happen. But
Speaking of coaches,
First, but skin, like
Brian Dalrymple.
skinny. Unless you want to play off the red and then the yellow to keep both yellows a little closer to the middle.
Okay. I like that.
I'm worried about trying to roll underneath that. Like if you hit it too skinny, we're probably going out because it's pretty slow. I think you hit the 4, come this way, push that yellow. Even when we get split this red further, we might be able to come off of it on the next one.
Like 9.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
9.
red, yellow, red, double.
Yeah, right.
Set.
Get a chunk of the red first, run that yellow into the other red.
Normal.
Should be able to get rid of 2 pretty easily, and definitely change up the angles.
Just normal.
You'll probably leave a double right back. but
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yep. Yes. Hard. 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 Hard up.
That's not
Turned out
terrible.
really well.
Yeah, that works out for them.
Wow. They staggered them so that they may jam on,
So how do you do that?
at least hit a piece or both of the red ones.
Which is not bad either.
Yeah, I don't think you can get that second yellow out without taking some reds with it.
Control.
You may not even be able to get it out at all.
I don't think it goes anywhere. I suppose you can just pick it clean, but you're still probably going to lose one of your reds.
Yes, hard. Whoa. Whoa. Curl. Oh my.
Boy, the extra weight in this rock is running straight. What do they have here? Well, just like you called it, Brian. You said you could pick it out of there. There it goes.
They actually touch both yellows on the
It
way
did.
by and managed not to remove either. However, you've really opened things up.
Yep, just nose.
And
10.
Lying 2.
if you're leaning towards that conservative play, that actually is a really good result for you. However, there's a double here for New Brunswick. Basically an inch off nose, and
Just 10.
you could be sitting 3.
Just off nose. Inside. Hair less.
So Newfoundland and Labrador sitting 2 for the moment.
Close. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Close.
This is looking close.
Needs to hit just a little inside the
hard.
nose.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
And
Oh, they jammed it.
That mic.
just a little too close to the nose. Probably needed to curl an inch or 2.
I think so. Like I
Now,
don't see anything else.
Piers
Well, if
Red
you
is
go
still sitting
there,
1 at the back.
Right?
The problem is getting second shot in here close enough so that you don't leave it, and close enough to lie 2 and not leave a double. Makes those fairly small. I guess they could draw in front of this one on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably try to just bite 4 foot on the back left, almost try to make them as even as you
Give me
can.
where I had first. Yeah.
Looks like they're
Big roll.
choosing to play the double hit and roll.
Yeah, roll
Double.
to the corner. Just control.
Control weight, hit roughly half a rock, and maybe try to flop it over towards the other
Mhm.
yellows.
Could be a pretty, it could be a pretty big end if we make this. All right.
Again, going back to playing the scoreboard, Newfoundland and Labrador just really need to make sure they score something here,
Yeah.
and they're in good shape with 2
Yeah.
ends to play. 2 or 3 would be nice, but really just even 1 point keeps the advantage on your side.
Whoa, curl, mile.
Set this back.
That's a lot of weight too.
For a
They
piece.
called control. This is more like a good firm almost.
Don't even.
No kidding. Wow.
So a break there for New Brunswick, and
You like it? I like it.
the opportunity to sit potentially 4 if they make the short run back.
Yeah. If he makes a short run back, a shooter rolls toward the middle of the house, and it may run interference with a draw for 1.
Your other choice here, you could probably just try to tap that yellow up a couple of feet and
Yeah.
leave your shooter in the way and really shrink that scoring area. But if you can make a guy throw against 4, that's usually a good situation to put your team in.
Oh, fire! Whoa, whoa, close. Whoa, close. Close. Whoa. Whoa, 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 curl, curl.
And makes the run, but loses 1, so yellow does sit 3.
You want to hit or draw? Whatever you're more comfortable with.
Needed to curl just a couple inches more. Maybe is that spot just a little straighter? Or they just
Yeah, they had lots of weight on this one. And also I'm standing right behind the throw here, and he did set it back a bit, so it did run a lot further before it started to curl.
Hit better.
A lot of times the release will
No, a hair roll.
dictate
It'll
how much the
move.
rock curls.
What was my last normal? What?
something I stress to a lot of new skips is just watch that release point, and then it should tell you right away whether plan A is still on the table or whether you're switching
Yeah.
to plan B or plan C.
Even if we hit it really thin, we're rolling over to the corner.
That's a good
It's still
point.
shot anyway, so.
You have to really be alert to that release.
Because I think a lot of club level skips wait too long hoping that it's going to work itself out, where really you have all the information you need right at the moment of release.
Curl,
He's choosing to play the hit.
curl,
Needs an inside roll here to score.
curl, straight, curl. Straight. Curl! What are you doing?
I think he's got it.
Got the hit, needs to roll, get it just far enough. Yeah, nice hit and roll there for the single
shot.
point. Newfoundland up 4-2 with 2 ends to play. We'll be back with the 7th in a minute.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America. The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed. has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Well, after being forced to make a good shot for one, Newfoundland and Labrador lead 4-2, headed into the 7th end. They threw the first one into the rings, right to the button. And as we've seen before, New Brunswick ignoring it, throwing up their corner guard.
And I'm liking the position of this corner guard. Last time they played this end through the first corner guard, a little too close to the 4-foot line, but this one is curling over
Real good.
to a good spot. Still allows a draw into the 4-foot if they have to.
Zachary French asking Noah Warren Peter to duplicate his first effort, throw another one right into the 4-foot.
Tighter. Real good. Line's all right. T-line. Hold in. T. Hold in. Just top 4, boys. No. Let it sit. Top 8. It's always cold. It's always straight. Always straight. All right. Right to it. Right to it.
And Noah delivers. Basically the same shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Think so, yeah. Corner guard.
New Brunswick going hard for the multiple points here. When we play our senior and masters game, if we get a corner guard, they throw a second one in. We just come around the corner guard because we find that we don't throw good enough to come into the 4-foot with the right weight after.
Little
So
if you can.
bring the play into the house sooner. But this is the right way to play it.
Oh, you're here.
New Brunswick being forced a little into a looks like it slid on, and that means it is
Going to be
fair
hit.
game for a takeout. New Brunswick being forced into a corner here, like I was saying, the scoreboard means they probably need to take 2 and steal, or really go big for a 3 at this point. So yeah, trying to throw that second corner
is important here for them.
would have been the very offensive move, but by sliding into the house, that will be undone pretty quickly.
This is a little wide, but I think
Whoa.
still okay.
Curl. Curl. They got a curl.
He's going to basically nose it.
No. Well, there's the 2 corner guards, although it isn't a Yellowstone. Still gives New Brunswick the opportunity.
10.
Yeah, and I don't know about the hit here. If you want to score multiple points here, just to move this red one back parallel with the other one and sit in front of those 2 would be a good shot. You pretty much know that Newfoundland Labrador is going to be throwing a hit. So if you can
Hard line.
get some backing for your shot.
Yep.
Yeah, as you were saying before, when you're trying to score points, rocks and play are your friends.
Yeah, see, a little less weight, that kind of a nudge, if you had back 4-foot weight, would have left a real good wall for the Yellow Rock, but
Same way.
instead they're going to have a wide open hit.
Yep. Get up. Hard. Really gotta go. Dig. Hard.
So curling up past the nose,
Hard.
or right to it anyway.
Yeah,
Nice.
good shot.
Yeah.
Here's another situation where they could be tapping back to the back of the house and then rolling behind the corner, leaving backing and getting a rock behind cover.
At some point, you got to try to start using those corners that you so carefully placed. That's one of my pet peeves is people throw corner guards and never use them.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Curl. Curl. Curl hard. Hard. Oh.
Might roll the other way a bit.
That's not a
And
bad result
shot.
either.
Not a bad shot.
What turn do you want? Doesn't matter. What turn do you want? I don't care. You're just peeling it out.
If they
No,
remove
go
these
this
two
way.
stones and roll out, then they can use the corner guards. New Brunswick will be able to use the corner guards.
I do find it a little bit odd that when given a choice, he didn't have a preference about which turn to throw.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard, Noah. Hard, Noah.
Looks like he's got it and loses the backing. That's not all
Right.
bad for them. That rock on the forefoot wasn't really helping.
No, it wasn't. So
Yep.
it opens up the opportunity for New Brunswick to come around the corner guard that was thrown up by their lead.
Right under the corner.
So now we'll see a chance to use those corners.
Line's good.
Ron Allen Elsinga.
Straight.
Elsinga, sorry.
Straight. Gotta go. Gotta go line. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Where?
Well, looks like they've got it by now. Is it going to stop?
Sit. That's okay.
Can't believe we've made it this far into the game and haven't mentioned that they're from the Gage Golf and Country Club in Oromocto,
Oh,
every curler's favorite New Brunswick
What
town.
do you like better, Cole? I just threw a peel. Okay, run it then. Okay.
pick a
Here,
vowel. O.
Yeah.
There are 4 O's.
This turn. Okay.
Now Newfoundland and Labrador choosing to play the long run back. The bonus being if you just miss, you're probably still getting the peel, but
Yeah. This is a good call
Oh,
because
girl.
you should, at
Girl.
worst, only give up a deuce
Girl.
playing this.
Girl. Close. Carol.
So close, but no cigar. Unfortunately, left a corner guard. They
It's
could
all right.
Christmas tree another one around there.
yeah, you half bury another one in there, and there's no doubles, and
Just got wide.
things start to get a little tighter for Newfoundland and Labrador. So it has a long way to curl, but the weight seems better.
He's not getting fully there.
Is it going to finish enough?
Looks like it'll be wide open. If you're not going to get the curl, you want to leave a little more space between those two yellows.
Darn it. That invites a double. That rock had to get over about another foot.
Yep, just no. Well, actually, I'm just gonna chuck you.
But it was good weight. You know, you had great weight on the shot. Just a little too much ice or a little wide. I'm not sure which.
Peel. It's just nose. I don't know why I'm throwing peel. I just want to make sure something. Like I feel like I'm throwing my peels the best. So I think I'm throwing peel because I feel my peels are straighter than the rest of my throws. So
A little conversation there about what weight they're throwing, and he says he thinks he's throwing his peels pretty good, so this one will be humming.
Yep, yep, yep. Whoa, yes.
It's got to be close with a yes and a whoa.
Yes.
Somewhere near the nose, gets them both, or goes over the top.
Sit.
Made it the
There
hard
it
way.
goes, yeah.
Whoa.
And just rolls too far.
It does.
Still a chance for New Brunswick here to use those corners if they can sink a draw. They might be able to generate a deuce.
Okay.
Zachary French has made a lot of great shots this game. Another nice double.
Both teams have made a couple of good ones, and like I said, we had one steal in the second end, but otherwise it's the team with the hammer's taken a single.
Yeah.
So that steal has been the
turning point,
the
so
difference.
far. Yeah.
I always compare it to a break in tennis. If you're up a break early on, then you can be tied for the rest of the game and win. So trying to stay on serve. Going around the other corner this time, trying to draw to the left.
Always straight.
The right as you're
Line's
looking
good.
at it from this angle.
Always straight. Curl. Go. Curl. Hard. Curl.
Line's getting good if it's got the
Hard
legs, but
curl.
it has to slide a little bit further.
Is it getting there?
Okay.
Not much.
Buries maybe just an inch of
Control.
it, not even.
Yeah.
Think you need it.
Weight was perfect, just maybe a hair too much ice.
I think so. This is typical of this ice. It comes in to the center harder than it goes out to the wings. And this is something that curlers always have to figure out. I call it figure out the personality of the ice, because they'll have these tendencies. Ice is rarely symmetrical, both turns, or uniform for weight on either side or end to end or start to finish. And that's part of the personality of every sheet that you have to figure out. And this ice doesn't go that hard to the outside.
Is that every sheet?
Every sheet's the same. Now it's interesting. It's hanging out there.
It's a lot of weight and needs to curl up. May get a piece or may slip right by.
Oh, slipped right by.
That is a big miss.
Yeah, talking about the tendency for this ice, we've got a great ice tech, and if you ever mention to him that, hey, we're noticing that it's not coming to the wings as much, he comes out there, next scrape, it's gone. So, and I can rest assured he's actually just below us downstairs, behind the sheet with his ice maker's room, watching, and he'll be taking note. If there's too much of a dish to the ice, he'll take it out with the scraping.
Definitely less. Line's fine. Line's good.
So, to tie the game,
Easy look.
Mike Hughes looking for a piece of the paint. Anywhere in the circles gets him 2. And we are in for an exciting finish.
For sure. Nice shot.
Right to the button it is. Cover the pin. There you go. Full eclipse. Tie game all of a sudden. We will have the 8th end. An exciting finish right after this quick break.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
We have a tie game coming down to the wire. A nice draw to the button there for a second point by Mike Hughes. Ties it up, and now we see that center guard, and we will see a tick played for the first time, where we keep talking about the center line rule. This one not touching the center line, so Newfoundland can move it farther to the edge of the sheet.
Line's really tight. Bit light.
Here we were talking during the break about whether teams ever tried this shot, but here it is.
Curl.
It's going to be close.
Curl.
Really close.
Curl. Hard roll, hard roll, hard roll.
Look at that.
They can move that
Wow.
right to the side of the sheet, and
Great
that's
shot.
pretty perfect. You can't do it much better than that.
Center guard.
Had that rock, the yellow rock, traveled about 6 inches further, it would have touched the sideline and would have been replaced, but that is really nicely done.
Still room. Curl early. Curl. Gotta move. Gotta move. Where?
Boy, this might be in the rings. No, I guess it's going to stop.
Grinding a little bit, but again, you really want to make contact with that center line, but don't be in the house, and it slides
Ouch.
in.
Ouch.
Line was perfect on that one, just a little too much
So-
weight. Really tough to generate that steal if you can't get your guards in the right place. Not impossible,
Sure.
though. Your opposition's still going to have to make a whole bunch of peels, and you have to not nose one or not flash one, and
Curl.
you will see that routine play out for the next probably 4 or 5 shots from each side. Throw a guard, peel it. Throw a guard, peel it.
Well, this is the 5th stone now, so this is it. Even if they throw a guard, it'll be peel, peel, peel.
Yeah, New Brunswick had their two free chances
Yep.
to make the guard stay, but neither ended up protected.
How'd that feel? Still room. Curl. Gotta curl.
It's got lots of weight on this one, too.
Curl. Gotta go. You can go.
Well, here it's coming down now.
Center line no longer really an issue. Obviously, you want to cover the button, but the center line rule doesn't apply once the free guard zone expires. So, as predicted, Newfoundland wasted no time getting that broom down for the peel.
Peel. Clean. Yep. Yes. Hard. Clean. 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 Shot.
We will see this dance a few more times, I think.
Nice too, Jaden. Line's good. Take a look. 2. 2. Straight early.
Guard, peel,
no,
repeat.
No, not curl.
Here comes the next guard.
Never curl.
It's a good idea to line them up.
Right.
To get the guard further out front, it makes the peel a little bit more challenging with the 2 other stones on the wings.
Yeah, with that tick, you do leave a little bit of granite lying around, and these Newfoundland playing the intern peel, it could
Peel. Clean.
park on their own, sitting at the edge of the sheet. And gets away with it.
Yep. Good shot. Really good shot.
good. Always straight.
Oh, take a look.
Easy. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And well placed once again. You're New Brunswick, you're just really hoping for a miss or at least a half shot here. And
Turn. Sure. For that one.
when you don't get the guards in the right spot, then it becomes a lot more difficult to.
And on this ice, you up your weight, and it's just going to sit there, but you don't want to flare it out, or else it'll run right by.
Yep. Clean. Yep.
And
Into the side, and they all go. So
Nice.
there, got rid of everything.
absolute clean sheet.
Line's
Guard,
good.
peel, repeat.
Take a look. Look. Curl a bit. No, line's good. Line's good. Curl. Through.
Yep. Yes. Hard.
Lucas
Hard.
Cole.
Hard roll.
This kind of weight, it's
Gets
pretty
the
hard
hit.
to stick around. There you go.
Right to the boards. Now, Hughes probably throw one guard up, and assuming the peel is made, he just has to pick a spot and
Yeah.
pray for the best.
After this rock gets peeled, with his last stone, like you said, he'll have to find a spot off in the wings a bit, maybe.
Well, this is where you have to go back to what you've seen over the course of the game. We have seen Zach French miss a couple of hits, and you're wondering, okay, is there a tendency there, or do I want to
Yeah,
make him throw this
for
turn or
sure.
that turn, or this spot or that spot?
Keep going. Far as you can go. Far as you can go.
See how good his memory is to see
Yeah.
Let me take care.
And
what he knows about his opponent, basically.
and often I say this, the personality of the ice and the personality of the person you're playing against. And maybe they do have a certain quirk or tendency that you could exploit. So you got to pick that up, and if you have a chance, take advantage of it.
So with his first of the eighth end, Zach French is trying to make the guard go away, ideally rolling out in the process.
Yes. Whoa. Clean.
Gave that a pretty good stab, and mission accomplished.
Time to confer with the coach. Maybe the
Right
coach is
there. That is
seeing
exactly where
something.
you got to go. Okay? Here's why. Because he's flashed his last 3 out-turn hits, and if he's going to draw, he hasn't thrown one. Right there. Full 8.
Couldn't hear what he was saying, but throwing the rock into kind of an in-between spot where hitting it is a little precarious because it's on the outside and it's far enough in the rings that drawing against it makes it a little testy. So
Seems like maybe a bit of gamesmanship there. He said fairly loudly that he's missed his last 3 out-turn hits.
is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah. So just putting that little seed of doubt in there into Zach's head.
Pretty good. Throw a little bit. If you can.
Whoa.
Looks like a lot of weight.
If you can. It's a missile.
Well, we won't get to check out Zachary's out-turn hit, or will we?
Nope, this one's sliding right through. So hit the paint for the win. If
I threw my out turn for the
Zach
LSD,
French
so-
can
No, I didn't.
find
I did
any
my
part of
hand,
that
but
12-foot circle.
Whatever. Okay, it was touch paint. Yeah, I got 13.5. 15.
It's still looking for probably that 15 and change number
Yeah.
will get you.
Yeah.
15, my bad.
You could stick easily with 14 and a half here. At this stage of the game on this ice, the pebble does flatten out a little bit as the game goes
you don't
on
have to
down the
get me
middle,
way out there. Take
where
a
the
little
majority
less.
of the rocks are thrown.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Dr. Sean Maw and myself have been doing quite a bit of research and studies for World Curling, and we actually have been photographing pebble close up, and curling rocks really eroded. Here it comes down. We see
Yep.
he's out in the fresh stuff, so this is not going to
Stay close. Yes.
slow down that much.
Can't hurt it. Whoa.
Good rotation.
They seem to be happy with it, just walking it down.
yep.
About 15 seconds on the
There
nose.
you go. You called it.
Should be pretty close. Right into the 4-foot, and that will do it.
Yeah. Good game.
Newfoundland and Labrador will take the win, improve to 2-2. New Brunswick will drop to 1-3. And we'll be back at 8:30 tonight with another game for you. Thanks for joining us here on the Curling Canada YouTube channel. And we'll see you later tonight.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Eugene.
Brian. It was fun doing this. We'll do it again.